You get your kicks flying too close to stars? Because you're putting out some interesting radiation. Sounds like you're just the type of pilot the Vanguard's looking for.
You might be Freestar Ranger material.
Give it your all out there. Supra et Ultra.
Don't mess with me!
You think you're just gonna walk up here and get us to surrender?
You killed a Terramorph. Holy shit.
So tell me, stranger, how do I know you're gonna deal straight with us?
Make us look good out there, recruit.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Starfield Report podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Smyson, and with me, as always, is Jax. How you doing, Jax?
I'm doing wonderful. Happy 4th of July, everybody. 250 years for our wonderful country.
Yes, it is early 4th of July morning here, Independence Day. And, of course, we have all those folks from around the world and they'll be joining us for our fireworks shows tonight. It'll be funny to see the people from around the world, Europeans and whatnot. I wonder if that one British guy that was over here, I can't remember his name right now. He was a British guy. He was driving across the South road tripping, eating at all of our restaurants and stuff, Southern barbecue. I wonder if he's still in town, because we're at the elimination part of the World Cup now, and so like a lot of players or a lot of tourists only plan to be here during all the rounds before they got to the playoffs of it, so to speak. I imagine a lot of them have gone back now. But yeah, good too.
A pricing difference, just like going to a NFL football game versus the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you get a regular season, your playoffs, and then the Super Bowl, right? So
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were here for their
pricing difference.
Yep. Now, speaking of 4th of July and American history and our shared love for beer.
Yay!
And alcoholic beverages. Question for you. Let's see. Well, not so much a question, but this will just be an interesting little
the answer is Budweiser. The answer is always Budweiser.
Budweiser. Okay, so let's take ourselves back to the 80s. We're going to go back to the 80s. We're going to go back to the 1780s, 1787. So this was right after the Constitutional Convention was signed. That's what it was. Let me double check. Yep. Okay. There is a bar tab that was ran up. How many bottles of alcohol do you think the founding fathers consumed? Well, this was 2 days before signing it. So they had finished writing it, but they had yet to sign the Constitution. So they're having like a
celebratory,
like a celebration. How many bottles of alcohol do you think they consumed? And how many people do you think how many people were in attendance?
I don't remember how many people signed the Constitution, but I'm going to say it was around 30. And so
there were 55 people.
300 bottles of beer, I'm going to say. That's 10 apiece.
Well, in this case,
for my figure.
Okay, so I can't remember the amount of signers on the Constitution itself, but for this particular party, there were 55 attendees, and George Washington was the head of it. And it wasn't so much bottles of beer. There was 12 bottles of beer, but there was 60 bottles of claret. There was 54 bottles of Madeira, 22 bottles of porter, 8 bottles of whiskey, 8 bottles of hard cider, and 7 bowls of spiked punch. Those guys were blitzed out of their minds.
There was a big decision in the Supreme Court about drug usage and firearm ownership.
Oh yeah, the marijuana one. Yeah.
Right. And it came down to marijuana, but the Supreme Court did not say this is about marijuana. They said this is about drug use, legal or illegal,
Mhm.
and gun ownership.
Mhm.
And so we want to get a comparative to this back in the founding, right? And so part of that came down to, well, what did the founders think of being inebriated and
Mhm.
firearm ownership? And they said drunkards are not allowed to have firearms.
Mhm.
Okay, what constitutes a drunkard? Well, our founders weren't drunkards. Okay, what does the documentation say about how much our founders drank? I think you just read that.
Mhm.
And they aren't
Well,
drunkards. So,
mhm.
in their eyes, it takes an awfully lot to be a drunkard.
Well,
You can
being
be drunk and
actively
not be a drunkard.
well, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think what it more came down to with this recent ruling was just not being actively inebriated when you're trying to purchase,
Right.
right?
Anyone
So,
that
yeah.
is functionally social, right? You can hold
Mhm.
down your job, you can pay your bills, you can, take care of
Mhm.
your responsibilities, and then still partake in your preferred, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then we
Yeah.
think that's okay.
Yep.
So y'all go back and figure that out. I think kind of what it came down to.
Yep. Yeah, it
So
worked out. So, but yeah, that's just wild. 100 I think that's 152 bottles. Yeah, for 55 guys. I mean, and most of those are large bottles, the
right, you're
wine,
talking like whiskey bottle size
yeah, with whiskey bottle size and
wine
the
bottles.
large wine bottles. Yeah,
Right.
that's
It's not like it's one beer bottle. That's one
yeah,
bottle is
yeah.
can is ends up being quite the
Well, back
dosage.
back in those days, have you heard of the wax? What do you call it? Wax duels. So you
Like
know how they,
wax
well,
pistols?
you know how they would do duels and they would literally shoot each
Right,
other.
right,
There was actually
right.
a duel between a couple of our founding fathers at one point. That's how
Oh yeah,
things,
one of our presidents
yeah,
killed another guy.
yeah. But what they
Was it
started doing
Adams?
this, I think so. I can't
John
remember off.
Adams?
Might have been, but they started doing this thing with wax bullets.
Oh,
So
so that it wasn't as deadly?
yeah,
Less
so
than lethal.
yeah, they would have a mock pronunciation of the person being dead and stuff, and it was something that they would do when they were drinking and they just wanted to go outside and resolve a bar fight in a entertaining fashion without it being actually lethal or deadly. They would load wax bullets into their muskets and
Right. Well,
good
happy
times.
birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday, America. Oh, there's going to be a huge flyover DC tonight. Apparently, over 800 aircraft.
Wow, that'd be cool.
Um. Oh,
I
and
was thinking about this too. Living in Colorado, they did not allow fireworks in the city limits, and it was very, very regulated. And, I mean, if you wanted to see fireworks, you basically had to go to like a 4th of July race or a 4th of July football game or a baseball game or something like that. And then the after show was the big 4th of July for the city, right?
yeah,
And the first time when I moved to San Antonio, and I live just outside of the city limits, so I'm in unincorporated Bexar County, outside of San Antonio proper.
mhm.
And the first 4th of July, it's like a war zone. It's just every oh my gosh, just I can't. There's no words for it. It's just beyond. I can't imagine what some of these visitors are going to think if they get to see the same thing that I get to see every 4th of July and every New Year's. Then they're going to be like, "Oh, these people are all crazy."
Um. So, how many fireworks is the typical um fireworks 4th of July fireworks show in a typical town have?
Oh, I have no idea.
It could be anywhere between on the kind of lower end for a smaller city, 1,000. But it can be, for some bigger cities, it can be 5,000. Do you know how many fireworks Washington D.C. is going to light off tonight?
I'm going to say 500,000.
Wrong.
Wrong. Higher. 3/4, 1 million, one and a
Oh,
half
oh, oh
million,
no, 850,000.
850,000 professional grade fireworks.
Which I was listening to this podcast and they were breaking it down, and like if they were to be if they're launching fireworks from multiple places around the DC area, every place that they can technically launch, they're launching like like dozens of fireworks a minute.
Can you imagine being in the? Is it proper to say? Is it the Mall of America where all the monuments are? The
I
Washington
think that's what
Monument,
it's called.
the
Yeah,
Lincoln Monument, and
yeah.
the reflect. Did they ever get the reflecting pole working right?
Uh,
Probably a sore subject, huh?
yeah. I think they took care of it. Yeah.
Okay. I think they figured out what the problem was, but I don't know if they got it fixed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, could you imagine being there, standing there, looking at that huge statue of Abraham Lincoln with the fireworks going off all around you?
That'd be pretty awesome.
Maybe some giant flags up on some flagpoles and the man.
Yeah, I need to go to DC one day. It'd be fun to be actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, that,
I'd
that
like
would be
to
fun to be there for 4th of July. But the problem is if you're
It is
unlucky
fun.
and it's hot, oh, I mean,
Yeah.
same thing with Texas. The humidity in DC during the summer, on the whole eastern coast, humidity
Yeah.
during the summer can be a bastard. So, most likely, if I do a trip to DC, it'd probably be during the fall when it's a little cooler. Kids are back in school, but probably have not started their field trips yet. Because usually field trips are more of a back half of the year thing. So it'll be fun to go to DC though. All right. Well, we are
What are we
here.
talking?
We're going to be talking about Terran Armada. We're gonna now. This will be our review episode, but we also have some cleanup to do, and so so to speak. Now, if you're new to the podcast here, we've already done the last. Well, there's 5 missions in the Terran Armada quest line, and so our last 5 episodes, we went through, focused each episode on one of those, and that's probably going to be a format we're going to maintain as we go through the other faction quests that we're still working on, which I think we'll probably do Freestar next. I think we'll see. We'll figure it out,
Right.
but I like that format where one mission per recording, and then we'll kind of and then we'll do a finale review of this plot. So that way we can discuss any things that we might have missed in the previous episodes and previous missions, and also just kind of give our rating of the quest line as a whole. So Return of Mud, obviously, it's a little more unique because it's not just a quest line; it's new content, it's new gear, weapons, it's the ship parts, of course, which are the highlight of the entire DLC, in my opinion. And yeah, so let's go ahead and there's going to be 3 things we're going to kind of clean up. There's the extractors, then we're going to do the hidden incursion quest line, and then we're going to do Delta's loyalty quest line, which I couldn't get to but we'll get into that later. Anyways, so
They're calling those 4 separate side quests.
gotcha. Okay.
Like those.
So first up, let's go ahead and talk about. And then lastly, of course, we'll get into the official review of the entire DLC. So the extractor quests are side quests, they're technically side quests, but they all have their own unique name. But they do have the icon of the relative faction. So you got United Colonies, Freestar, and Ryusian. Okay. You get these at the end of the 4th mission. Now, in my case, because I was role-playing my combat medic, I only did the United Colonies one. I definitely was not going to do the Freestar one. And I didn't bother with the Ryusian one. I was also kind of in a rush to finish that quest because we were doing the recording just the next morning. And so I might have done the Ryusian one if I had enough time, but I didn't know that there were actual perks to finishing all of these. And in that final space battle, if you've done the United Colonies one and the Freestar one, you get more ships in that final space battle. Okay. The Ryusian one, you get a weapon. And let me show you guys that weapon right now. It's called the Dispatcher. It's one of those Arboron guns, and it's a rifle.
Share that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sharing it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's the heavy particle fuse ammo. It comes with the disassembler trait or effect, which is where it does 20% extra to robots. Also has the staggering effect. So I think it's like 10% chance to stagger. I think. So it's overclocked, got a short scope, laser sight, and long barrel. So as you can imagine, this is a very effective weapon at the when you are engaged with the Terran robots. Now, in my case, though, hold on a second here.
So when is this presented to you? Because I don't remember getting it, but I did do the side quest. There was 3 of them: Prid Pro Quo,
It's
Give and Take, and Favors for Favors were the 3.
yeah, those are the 3 those are the extractor ones. This is right after you've completed the 4th mission. That's when you get all of these, and all of them should be populated right there in your quest log, so you can do them in any particular order. And so you go do one, and you go back to Anchor Point to talk to the representative. There's your I always call him Viper because the Tom Jarrett's character from Top Gun, the character Viper, the Top Gun instructor. That's what that guy reminds me of. And then there's he's the United Colonies guy. Percy's the Ryushyan, and then the chick is Freestar. And so
she reminds me of the Terminator, the mom in Terminator, but the older one.
Yeah, Sarah Connor.
Sarah.
Well, yeah,
she reminds me of Sarah Connor in Terminator 8.
Yeah, well, Terminator Dark Fate, I would say, is the best one since Judgment Day, where it actually makes sense. I mean, Salvation kind of maybe because it just shows the future war, but I think Dark Fate made logical sense. Like they concluded, they acknowledged that they defeated Skynet, but humanity was destined to create an AI that was going to try to wipe itself out, and so that was actually a pretty cool concept of a movie, I think. And of course, I like seeing Linda Hamilton back because she's pretty badass. I mean, she was like my mom kind of ish character in the right. I mean, because I was born in 81, so like right at the tail end of Gen X there, and she was So John Connor was like just only a year or two older than me by the time that movie came out. Anyways, so you have those 3 characters. You go back each time you do their X-Tech extractor location, and you go back to them. Now, if let's say you've only, like in my case, I only did the United Colonies one, and then I went ahead and finished the Terran Armada quest line.
That's the way I did it.
It's pointless at that point to do the Freestar one because you don't get anything, because the only perk to it was getting more ships in that final battle. But regardless of where you're at,
go ahead. I think there is one other perk though. I think you get an extra X-Tech core so that you can make more X-Tech excavators.
Right? Okay. Yes, I think you're correct. Yeah, because at first, that's to start all of these off. You're given a named X-Tech core. Right. You're given one that says Ryushyan X-Tech core, I think, or something like that. Each of the 3 names. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I get, if you do finish it, then now you get a third. So you would get 3 X-Tech core extractors. So then I don't
unnamed X-Tech core,
an unnamed one. Yeah. Now then, that begs the question: can you get more of those somewhere else? Can you buy them somewhere? Or would then you forever just be limited?
How many did you end up with? I ended up being able to make 6 extractors in one base.
Oh, okay. Well, then, so somehow the core, is that even relevant then?
See, you may be able to farm them by going and doing major or minor excursions and, randomly come across a core, but by doing the representative side quests, right? You're going to be guaranteed 3.
Okay.
And I may have just done enough and found enough randomly to end up with 6. And that's what I'm not sure about. That's kind of, without having a frame of reference, I don't know what you did or how many you got. I just know how I ended up, and I can't remember if I had those or didn't.
I just built the 2. I built the United Colonies one, and then when I did discover that you get a weapon for the Ryushyan one, I went ahead and Googled it at that point just to make sure, and found out So I did that to get the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't even bother with the Freestar one, partly because of the role play of that character. But then at that point, I was thinking, well, I'm not going to get any perk for it. But now that there is the potential, I mean, I don't know. I'm role playing that character pretty strict. He's pretty anti Freestar. So whereas my
Maybe
Space
you just
Trucker,
won't go and help them so much.
yeah. I mean, my Space Trucker, on the other hand, he started off as Freestar, my main character, and he still considers himself a Freestar citizen, but he's also been through the Unity multiple times, so he's much more kind of willing to help out the universe, broadly speaking. He's less.
And the actual what you have to do to complete those the side quests for that. All you do is you go find they give you a location. Go over here.
Yeah.
So you go there. You set up a outpost beacon, and then you set up an
you don't even have
extractor.
to set up a beacon; it's already there.
Oh, there's already a beacon there. Okay.
Yeah.
But then you set up an extractor and a storage and a power, and you have to put down some defenses.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even think you need the
Three
storage.
guns or something.
It's
Maybe
it's
not storage.
it's 4 guns, the extractor, and whatever power sources you choose to
Right.
supply the power. So
And that's it.
on one planet, it was a very sunny planet, so I did the solar panels. On the other one, it was very windy. You could literally hear the wind. So I'm like, it's windy, windmill. The tall, skinny
Right.
windmills. That was what I did.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
And I noticed when I was looking through the new data log, what's it called? The research data,
yeah, I know what
right?
you're talking about.
And you look at all your outposts, those
Yeah.
3 outposts show up
Oh,
as your outpost.
but I thought once you've like kind of finished
I
it, that it transfers the ownership back to them. So anything in there would be considered stealing if you were to try to take it, right?
That's kind of what it said, isn't it?
Huh.
I'm pretty sure that's what it explained to me too. Is like, hey, make sure you take all your stuff or it's going to be ours.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I made
Yeah.
sure and didn't leave anything in a store, because sometimes when you build a base, you put down a storage unit and maybe you
Yeah.
drop off some weapons or some armor or whatever because you're overweighted. And it was kind of it seemed like it was trying to tell you, hey, don't leave your stuff here because you're not going to get it back.
Okay.
And I made sure and mentioned that when we went over that part of the quest.
Okay.
But now that I'm looking at my outpost list, I'm like, those are still on my as my outposts. So, huh? I
Well,
don't know.
the thought just occurred to me, and I didn't test this out, but what if you have one of your traits, your character traits, like my combat medic, he's United Colonies is one of his traits, and you have
Mhm.
special dialogue options based on your traits, and special perks to things. So I'm wondering if Bethesda thought far enough ahead that if you're United Colonies background, right, your trait, that when you're at the UC X Tech outpost, that you can take things. It's because you're part of the faction. That would be nice if they thought that through. I kind of
Yeah,
don't think
I
they
don't
did
know.
though. I don't. I'm not gonna put money that they put money on that they did that.
Right. I'll be honest. My gameplay has slowed down since vacation and summertime and stuff has been going on, and so I've not been I've not been super active with the game. The most active I've been was I sat down and made me an A-class ship,
Yeah,
and that was a lot of fun. Well, we'll get to that later.
your little Poindexter or
Yeah,
Poindexter
Poignard.
Pointguard.
It's
Yeah, the
it's
small
yeah,
version
it's
of the
French.
avant-garde.
It's French for dagger.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be part of our mod stuff we get into over the summer. So yeah, so that wraps up the X Tech extractors. I think nothing. Yeah, that you get them at the end of Quest 4.
Hmm.
You should preferably do them all of them then do Quest 5.
Hmm.
And then, but if you're already after that, just go look in your side quest because I think they moved. I think they originally
I
are
think
under
you're right.
the Terran Armada faction quest. Like when you open that up, you see them. They're listed with
Mhm.
the appropriate faction icon actually next to them. But once you finish mission 5, they shuffle them over into the uh,
Miscellaneous
the
or
miscellaneous, or
activities or something.
yeah, I think it's the miscellaneous tab. So
Yep,
you
I
can,
believe you're right
yeah,
because I
and then
lost track of them and
yeah,
didn't even realize that I had to go to do the other two
yeah.
until I think you mentioned it. It was like, oh dang, I need to go find that.
Well, and that gun, I mainly got it just because with it being a one of the standard guns, and with the Dark Star TGO is not. Well, it's been a few days since I played, so I don't know if it's been updated since. But any of the new weapons, you can't Dark Star them. You can't take them apart like you can with all the vanilla guns. So because that Arboron gun is a vanilla gun, I was able to go to a place and strip off the codexes for the disassembler and staggering. But the thing is even though my combat medic is primarily and pistols and grenades, I did start leveling up my rifle skills because I have a fully automatic Terran gun that it cost me money to do it because I had to do the official way of upgrading for the traits. So I've got
Mhm.
I do have disassembler on it. I've got the armor piercing one, and then what was the other one? I can't remember the other trait I have, but it's legendary. And the reason I'm using one of their guns is because if I'm going to go on a mission to specifically go after Terran robots, I'm collecting the very ammo for my gun that I'm using. And without
Right.
fail, I've not had to buy ammo because by the time I'm done, I finished it with more ammo than I had. And I think I'm playing on, is it hard, either hard or very hard? And
Mhm.
I'm able to hose through these guys and walk away with more ammo than I went in. So if you chose the keep the incursions going option, make sure to get yourself a nice full auto, um, MGP that Terran rifle with the 7.62 rounds, and you're not going to have any ammo. And just pull that out specifically when you're going on an incursion, and you'll be fine with your ammo.
So I don't know if we talked about this or not. Fallout 76 at one point had
Mhm.
random ammunition drops when you would kill somebody. And then at some point, at one of their updates, they're like at
Mhm.
95 updates for that game at this point.
Yeah,
They've spent a lot of time and effort to keep that game relevant.
yeah.
But at some point when I was still playing it, they had an update where either you were more likely to get the ammunition for whatever gun you were using, or was it more likely to get the ammunition of whatever gun they were using? I thought it was the one you were using. So, like, if you were using a shotgun and you shot somebody and they were using a pistol, a pipe pistol,
Mhm.
they would have pipe pistol ammunition plus shotgun ammunition. Not every time, but more likely.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if that's the same thing, if they use that same mechanic and the same, um, you know, scripting for Starfield that they did in Fallout 76 to make it more relevant to get the
Mhm.
ammunition that you're shooting.
Well, have you?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe I haven't noticed that,
I always get
but
the and a few rounds of whatever they're shooting, which
okay.
if they're the people, it's the dogfight gun, dogfighter, dogfighting
Yeah,
gun.
yeah, yeah.
And then if it's the Terran, the robots, then it's the MPG gun. Is that right?
Yep, yep.
MGP, and that's the 7.62. But I always carry a 7.77 rifle.
Okay.
Is it
The
not
Grendel.
the Grendel? No, is it no, it's not
Well, because the Grendel's, yeah. There's another gun that fires that same ammo.
it's the bigger one. The Grendel is the smaller PDW style.
Yeah, the bullpup one.
Anyway,
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. I've not seen that I've gotten my ammo specifically because I'm usually using the that pistol. It shoots the 43 Ultra Mag ammo.
okay.
Um, there's because I've what is that weapon, that pistol called? That's my primary pistol I use because it hits the hardest. The second hardest hitting pistol that I have in the game is the X
The
whatever.
Eagle, something Eagle.
Um, I can't remember. I'm totally brain dead right now. But
Right.
but that one I have silenced. My primary one I don't. The second one, the second most powerful pistol I've come across, I went and put a silencer on that, which I sometimes pull out situationally. Um, and then my grenades. And I was walking around with the keel hauler, the mag,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I ended up stripping the effects off of it and just putting that in my safe as a treasure for me taking out the fleet.
Hanging on a wall somewhere. Look good.
Yep. Yeah, it's cool paint on that. Yeah, I
Right.
yeah, so I'm not familiar with that picking up more ammo thing.
Yeah.
So
It was just a
yeah,
thought. Sorry, passing thought.
is
You should
there?
probably.
Do you think there might be a mod you're running that's doing that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't run those kind of mods usually.
Yeah.
I run the kind of mod where if I need ammunition, I just go make it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like if you're yeah. For me, my mods are about quality of life or just depth of game.
It's anti-grind. Is a lot of
Yeah.
mine. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't typically change. It's not like I'm harder to hit or, you know, I hit harder all the time, but it just takes a lot of the grindy stuff out of the games. A
Yeah.
lot of the
Same
mods
here.
that I use.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I still want the game to be challenging. I have no problem
Yeah.
dying. It might be annoying, but like I like. I mean, I
Well,
grew up
and
on.
you get so surprised every once in a while when you get one shot, you come around a corner and somebody just takes you out and you're like,
Mhm.
whoa.
Well, and I was reading this article about the differences between most games today versus games when we were kids, and I grew up on Mario Bros, the original, where you have 3 lives, and it's trial and error. You die, you
Mhm.
fall down a pit. There's no save point to go back. I mean, they kind of had, I think, some mid-stage checkpoints, if I remember. Yeah, they had some checkpoints, but it wasn't. You couldn't save when you wanted to, so there
Mhm.
was no reload to a specific save. And I think when it reloaded to a checkpoint, it didn't store your score or potentially however many lives you had. And eventually, you could run out of lives, and it's game over, and you go back to the menu, and you do have to literally start over at that point. So, versus games today, you constantly can save them whenever you want, practically, a lot of them. And so that challenge is kind of gone because you're like, oh, I can just reload to my save 10 seconds before this happens.
It's funny you bring that up because with me going to some of these Dungeons and Dragons conventions
Mm.
recently over the last few years, a lot has been talked about how originally when Gary Gygax developed the game and they were playing it in his basement and they were developing the game and it was just kind of a local thing, your characters were throwaway characters.
Hmm.
If you lasted 10 minutes in a dungeon, okay, great, yay. But typically, the dungeons were so hard, the monsters were so villainous, you didn't get attached to your character. By the time
Okay.
I started playing in the late 80s and the 90s, second edition Dungeons and Dragons, you got attached to your character and you raised them up to be seventh, eighth, ninth level, and it took months and months, if not years, to get there. And you had adventure after
Yeah.
adventure with the same character,
Hmm.
where theirs was more along the lines of a Mario Brothers working through, you know,
Hmm.
across the way, where my characters were more along the lines of a Skyrim,
Yeah.
Dragonborn that's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's funny how the same progression happened in the two different genres
Hmm.
of video gaming versus role playing gaming. Kind
Hmm.
of took a very similar progression as far as it was a one shot versus a long thematic game playthrough,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It yeah, both the tabletop and the video game, computer game, like kind of had a similar evolution in complexity and depth. I mean, because yeah, as players started continuing to play the tabletops, once you kind of get the mechanics down of the game to where you're like, well, man, I kind of want to keep this character around. Then people start caring about role playing and really getting into the character and valuing that character and wanting that character to be alive and whatnot. And then, of course, computer games, they eventually, introduce the ability to save the game file. And then, so by the time, you hit Morrowind, I would say, and probably before Morrowind, to be fair, but I'm a Bethesda fanboy, so that's my go-to. But Morrowind, which, to be fair, I played 20 minutes of, I think, once. But yeah, I understand. I acknowledge Morrowind was a huge milestone for Bethesda because I started off with Oblivion for my Bethesda fandom, but Morrowind was huge, and it was able to, you're able to save your character, save your progression, and level up your character to really high level and just keep that character going. Okay, so our next topic, real quick here, is going to be the Hidden Incursion. Now, this quest, let me pull up. Where is it there? The Hidden Incursion pops up after you finish the main quest of Terran Armada. And the agent Yamoja, she is the person who comes to you at Anchor Point. And well, actually, she was, I think, standing there and kind of waving at you in a very obvious place. And she's the agent that you go on the very first rescue mission with.
Right.
And then she's the one that confronts you with her gun in your face, in your face when you have Delta for the first time, and like, hey, you've got a Terran robot. Well, what's going on? So that's who Emoja is, and there's a So she's got some concerns that she's a little vague with, but let's see, let me go through the exact order here. So from Anchor Point, she tells you to go meet with her contact outside a mast. And we're just going to kind of walk through this because it is a pretty straightforward quest. It's not that long. And you can probably finish it within an hour. But she has you go to mast in New Atlantis and to meet her contact. And markers right above his head. You walk up to him. He pretends not to know what he's talking about or what you're talking about. He walks off and leaves a data slate on the railing. You pick up the data slate, and it's a Voss's data slate, VOSS. You take it back to her, and it confirms to her that there is somebody who's been leaking data to the Terrans. So I'm not sure if you can do this. I don't think this quest even is available till after you finish the Terran Armada quest line. But and now in your case, you kept the incursions going. I turned the incursions off. This quest pops up regardless. Yes. Now in my case, I got a little excited thinking that maybe while I'm not going to have the active incursions that just randomly pop up around the galaxy like you do, that maybe there's an indirect way of having more incursions where this quest line is how do you call it? Kind of a radiant quest line where it's not going to randomly pop up on the map. But if I choose to go to somebody and talk to them, then an incursion will pop up. So I can go fight some Terrans again.
Right.
I
remember we had this conversation.
Yeah. I was
work hours, and I was trying not to spill the beans, and I'm like, I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, because it's its own.
No, I think you need to play a little longer and kind of.
Yep.
No, I think keep going.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's not what it was. It's just a standalone post main, storyline side quest. So from there, you have to go to a Terran relay station. Now, in my case, it was a small environment. It was a 0G environment. Is that how it was for you? Do you remember?
Don't remember.
Yeah. It could be
pretty quick, probably one evening.
Yeah, most of these incursions are random environments, but in my case, it was I docked and I as soon as I entered the relay station 0G, and I had to drift my way down, throw some. I went up to a computer, but I couldn't activate it yet because I needed to restore power. I went and restored.
Is this where you had to throw the switches?
There's 3 of them.
Float up or down, and then throw another switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and as soon as I threw, I think the 3rd switch, that's when some of the Terran robots and I think 1 human pop out. You hose them all.
That will also become a radiant minor incursion.
Okay.
That you'll run into. You'll have to go to those. What's it called? relay stations,
Yeah.
and they're just basically small star stations or um, like star bases, but they're small.
Yeah, so you're in and out in 10 minutes. If you
5 minutes.
once you
Yeah.
get the rhythm down and know it, you're like, okay, go here, do this, do that,
Yep.
leave. Okay. So yeah, so pretty straightforward. And then once you activate the computer, or once you activate the 3 switches, kill the Terrans, you go to the computer, you get some data off of it, which is in this case, is a recording of the culprit, who is, drumroll, Percy, the Ryusian
Bum, bum, bum.
agent of that what's their
Void.
void. So the right, and it makes sense. Ryusian's a corporation. They like technology. They don't want the Terrans to be completely wiped out. So they want to
Yeah.
keep harvesting that technology. So they've been trying to keep the Terrans on life support, basically,
Right.
to gather stuff, gather technology and whatnot. So yeah, so then you take the slate back to um,
Back to
yeah,
the lake. Back to
back
Void.
back to Anchor Point. Yep. And you talk to, well, first you talk to Agent Yamoja, and then the two of you go down into the secret little meeting room, confront
Yeah.
Percy, and oh, I had my gun on his face. I was ready. I mean, my combat
Yeah.
medic is kind of, if you've ever seen The Expanse, he's definitely. I mean, I've used the Amos character face, but I gave him longer
Mhm.
hair with the cowboy hat, so he's like Amos from The Expanse. He was ready. If you're an Expanse fan, you'll understand this line. I am that guy. So he was ready to be that guy on Percy if he needed to, but Percy thankfully went quietly, and that was it. And
Yep.
so you get some money, some experience, nothing too fancy.
So it was at this point that I realized I had not done the other 2 X-Tech core
Ah,
extractor
okay.
points because I was like, oh no, Percy's gone, and he's the one that's supposed to do the thing for me. So
Mm-hmm.
you leave, and then if you come back, there's a new guy there,
Oh, a new Ryusian agent?
a new Ryusian
I didn't know
representative.
that. Because I haven't been back
Yeah.
since.
So if you go
What?
back, then there's another guy there,
Okay.
and he will finish where Percy left off.
Minus the
It's
leaking.
there's a basic introduction, and he's like, "Well, it's nice to meet you," and you're like, "Well, it's good to
Okay.
work with you," and okay, hopefully we'll have a better relationship than the last guy, kind of a thing. But then it's just all kind of shrugged
Yeah.
off, and that's about all it said, I think.
Well, I'm surprised Void even permitted Ryusian to have a representative back in their ranks again after that.
Right?
Or was Percy kind of?
Seems like it's systemic.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was definitely more of a systemic thing. But if Percy was kind of acting like being a little overzealous lone wolf, and maybe not doing that with the blessings of his Ryusian seniors, then I can understand why Void would still let Ryusian be a part of the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a pretty straightforward quest. Now a slight extension of that though is I have played maybe 10+ hours just flying around, hoping I'm coming across more Terrans, and I have not. I may or may not. I don't know.
Incursions are happening.
Obviously, incursions are done because I chose that option. But I would like
Okay.
to think that there should just be random Terran enemies that I'll come across. And because I chose the option to end the incursions, which simultaneously made all the robots want to just kill people, I should come across ships where, in some cases, all the Terran robots are dead on board, and because the humans prevailed. In some cases, it should be the other way around. I would like to think that's the case, that I should be coming across him as the random enemy spawn. You fast travel to a planet, you get Spacers, Ecliptic, Varun, Crimson Fleet, Terrans.
Right.
That's how, they should be in the enemy spawn pool, in my opinion. Because granted, their incursions capabilities are shut down, but they still have all their ships all over the galaxy, Well, hey folks, right after doing the recording of the Terran Armada review, I hopped in the game to play around a little bit, and I happened to notice I actually have a major incursion that popped up, even though I chose the option to shut them all off. So I don't know if this is maybe like a once in a great while I might get one or not. I mean, because in my settings, right down here, gameplay options, I have my incursion chance set at normal. I've never changed it. But I'm assuming that because I chose the option to turn them off, that I would never get them again. And especially because that's a major incursion, which is a much larger dungeon, so to speak. Let's look at the star map here. So I'm down at the Acre Point system, and this incursion is up right over here. Celebri system? So it's worth noting that I guess you can still get them, unless it's just a bug and I shouldn't have gotten it. That's always a possibility.
It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Seems like you've kind of turned it off, huh?
Yeah, which means, yeah, I mean, yeah, but so.
Well, you're the hero then.
I'm the
you
hero.
saved the day.
Yep, save the day and don't get any more of their stuff. None of their loot. None of the Eurasian.
I tell you, that's what I was kind of worried about. Yeah. Was that I might want to go and farm some of this stuff for X-Tech and farm it for the figures, the action figures. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For the action figures, because typically about every third or fourth incursion, you'll find an action figure on one of the ships or on the planet, wherever, whatever you're doing. So I was like, well, I can, kind of my reasoning was selfish player reason, not character reason. So,
well, the X-Tech is now in the regular loot drop rate for any boss. I've come across, spacers that have had X-Tech, I'm pretty sure.
But when you don't know that, you're just going off of what your experience is so far. And that's where I made that decision from.
True. Yeah, and if all you've done is focus on the Terran Armada quest line and you've not branched out, I can see how you logically would assume, there is no X-Tech outside of interacting with the Terrans. But
or as much. And now you've got an extractor, so you can just play the game and go back to your extractors and harvest them every once in a while.
Yep. Oh, regarding the extractors, should have mentioned this when we were talking about them, but so I was reading how this one guy took his 3 extract the cores, the unnamed ones, because he had done all 3, put them in the quantum entanglement device, the chest for when you go through the Unity, you get stuff out. They were in there. However, he still needed to get through that 4th mission to be able to go do them.
Because he did not have the instructions on how to make an extractor. So you got the core, but you don't know, you don't have the diagrams on how to make an extractor. So it's kind of like having an engine with no car.
Yep. Unfortunately, I think that's a major oversight on Bethesda again, because you literally just built them in your previous universe. That was a genius idea by that guy.
To be able to, in an update, they need to be able to. You need to be able to buy a data slate with the extractor information on it, with extractor build sheet.
Yeah, or
extractors.
Yeah, I mean what the update should do is as soon as you've finished all 3. Or maybe as soon as you've finished 1, now you have the instructions on. You just know it. You don't have to have something on you to know how to build it because you now have built it with the instructions you were given. So now you know how to do it. Then you shouldn't need. You just go into your next universe and go wherever you want. And
so basically, in the behind the scenes scripting, it just needs to be locked or unlocked. Have you?
Right. That's what they should do.
If in some universe you've done it because they've got things that carry over universe to universe as far as damage dealt, damage received on how many universes you've been through. So there is the back end keeps track of all that stuff.
Exactly.
Keeps track of your progress and whatnot. So
yeah.
So now we're going to come to how do we become buddies with Delta, right? It's the your affinity quests for Delta.
So slight sidebar before you get into it though, I have experienced bugs with this where I cannot get him to follow me. I can assign them to any ship. I can assign them to an outpost. I've done the trick where I will, assign, like have a somebody following me, and then I'll dismiss them, go talk to them. Doesn't work. I'll like land at a major port like New Atlantis, or I'll go to the lodge, because if you dismiss any of the lodge members, Sam, Sarah, whatever, and they're not on your ship, they will go back to the lodge and you can retrieve them. So I've done all of those little hijinks. I've not tried waiting on Venus for 3 days yet. So, and that is kind of a known way to fix bugs. So if there's any players out there that know how to fix this, go ahead and sound off in the comments below. Because I'm definitely sad, because I wanted him to be my combat medics robot friend, where Vasco is my space truckers robot friend, and the little short robot that you get in free lanes is my cyber runners little robot friend. But so at this point, Delta's just on my ship. But anyways, carry on.
And I don't know how that happened to you. I just, fortunately, it didn't happen to me.
It just works.
Right, it just works. Thanks, Todd.
Love you, Todd.
So at some point, Delta and I had an argument that Delta's getting a little uppity. He's thinking that the robots need to be running the show, because they're so much more
smarter
and advanced. They're more advanced than mankind. And we start to get on this discussion about how mankind, our big leap was jumping from the Earth all the way to the moon. And yet robots are jumping across the entire galaxy. So obviously the robots need to be leading, because they're so much more advanced. And so he's got a challenge for us, and he decides that it's going to be a challenge of strength. And, surely the robots, he can win this easily. So he wants to lead you to, Delta's challenged me to a test of strength. Whoever lifts the lunar lander. So he's like a way to accentuate how much more powerful the robots are. Let's go back to where mankind had their greatest leap ever. Okay. So we're going to go land on Luna, and we're going to go to the original lunar landing site. And he's like, okay, I know what I can do. I'll bet you I can lift this lunar lander and you can't. Right? But I guess he doesn't realize that I'm a pretty strong guy, one, and the moon gravity is really weak, so I'm able to lift it. And it says I won the first challenge, leaving Data more surprised than upset. They said that they needed more time to come up with the next challenge and will let me know later when they're ready. I should check in with them soon. Okay.
So it kind of follows that what the other affinity quests are. Like you help them, or you work with them on part of it. You got it, and then however many hours of gameplay later, you go back to them and
do a little bit, and then eventually there'll be a little pop up, and it'll say on the corner, so go talk to Delta.
Now, was there an animation of you lifting it, or did it just?
I believe there was.
Okay.
I believe you go over, you reach over, and you hit the A button on your controller or whatever on your keyboard, and it shows you lift it up, and there's back and forth talk. I'm going through it quickly because we want to talk about this, but I want to leave the dialogue for you guys to listen to. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Because you and Delta going back and forth. This whole thing is several quests Delta trying to prove how much better he is, AI robots are, than humanity.
And so is it just a series of these challenges? Okay, so in that case, do you think there are any that are worth specifically talking about because of a potential issue, or have they all been pretty straightforward and they all worked fine for you?
I didn't have any issues.
Okay.
They popped up. I went and did the thing and completed it, and it said go back and talk to Delta later on.
Okay.
And you go through and you do whatever you're going to do. Maybe you go to your base, or maybe you go to an incursion, or do another quest or whatever. And then it'll just out of the blue, it'll pop up and say, hey, go talk to Delta.
Yeah, right? Same with all the affinity quests on them, where you help it. Like Barrett's was most notable because you're doing that investigation into his dead husband. So you go back
Right.
and forth. Like,
Right. Every once in a while, the lawyer needs some more money.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
right.
So, okay. So in that case, let's not necessarily spoil every step of these if they're just kind of these random fun little challenges, but let's go ahead and get to
Yeah.
the last one and then the conclusion of his affinity.
Let's see. Yeah. The conclusion is pretty. It's called Power Struggle. So there's 4 total. The
Okay.
first one is called A New Space Race. That's where he gives you the first challenge and he starts getting a little uppity with you.
Okay.
The next one is called the Win, called WIN, like in Windows, short for Windows.
Okay.
Win Slate. And so Delta feels like that he could probably beat you in a computer challenge. So he wants to challenge you to download a file faster than he can. And so
Okay.
you tell him that you think there needs to be an arbiter or a judge. And so y'all decide Roxanne can be the arbiter, and there's going to be a file on her computer. You need to go get the file faster than he can. So that's the second one. The third one is called the Instrument of Life. And what was that one? Let me look real quick, because what was this here? Instrument of Life. Let me get a little reminder here. Oh yeah, this one gets dark, and this one I'm going to leave alone because I want you guys to handle this one on your own.
Okay.
So after you beat him with Roxanne, he kind of huffs off,
Okay.
right? And so he's like going to go pout in a corner somewhere. And you get a message that Roxanne says, "Hey, Delta has sent me a message for you to meet him somewhere. And you be careful because he was acting a little erratic and irrational. And I think you need to be careful. So, but here's the location. Go find him."
Yeah.
So you go and find him. And from this point on, I think I should let
Let
first
us
two are straightforward.
Yeah.
They're just challenges. This one is completely starts going off the rails. So I want everybody to play this one. I don't want to spoil it because when I did it, I was left with my just mouth hung open. He what? What is going on? Okay, so it continues on. The fourth one is called Power Struggle.
Okay.
And so now he's going to challenge you in a straight up combat, mano a mano, me versus you combat battle.
Okay.
And you get, when it first kicks off, there's several different ways you can deal with it, right?
Yeah.
And so the one I picked was there's a resolution that says, hold on, before we do that, Delta, I want you to multiply 0 times 0. And if the answer is if the answer is more than 1, rerun the calculation.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But it turns it into a loop. And so now his processor is in this loop and he can't do anything. Because he's running this calculation over and over and over and over and over and over, right?
So he can't fight.
So he can't fight.
So then you can just shoot him.
So then you just walk up and you basically put him off or reset him or something, and then you explain to him that, hey, look, obviously I've won all 4 of the challenges. Obviously, I'm the better choice.
Yeah.
And at that point, he kind of accepts that, yeah, I'll learn to fail and become better as opposed to just knowing that I'm better. And so it kind of works out that way.
Failure is the best teacher.
Right?
So
that he learns that he can fail.
So now, is there a choice? Because I know Andresia's has a choice. You can add, it has kind of like a multi-layer choice.
Pick the whole logic loop, computer logic loop.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think you actually have combat with him and you have to fight him.
Okay. Well, my combat medic he's not retarded. He's a medic. So he's got a good grasp of science knowledge, but for the sake of this one, I'll just say he was he'll be a little meathead in his approach to it. So assuming the quest ever unbugs and Delta lets me do this affinity quest, I'll make sure to get into a combat fight with him and report back in on that. But then, so once you finish that, then is there a reward? Does he give you anything? I mean, I'm assuming there's obviously XP for finishing the quest.
Does it?
Does he give you a gun, items?
Delta in combat, putting an end to the competition. Delta seems to have coped with the loss, having realized their failures with a new prime directive. In the end, I'm just glad Delta's back to normal. But it looks like there's a second ending here that says, I lost to Delta in our final challenge because they've won the competition. Technically, they're in charge now. However, because they enjoy observing and gathering data on me, their first order was to put me back in charge.
So to observe you as a leader, to gather data on you as a leader.
Right.
So I wonder then, okay.
Lead, I'm going to put you back in charge to lead. I'm technically in charge here. You know that, right?
It's kind of like the Thor and Star-Lord meme from the Marvel movies, where they're like, "Oh, I'm in charge." Oh, yeah, of course you're in charge.
Right.
Now, so that makes me wonder then, if you choose the combat option with him, and he does get the better of you, if he right at the point you would typically die if you just get incapacitated, and then there's a load screen and he's like, he's reviving you or something. I imagine
you'll have to try and see how you go through it.
Or maybe he gets you down to a certain percentage of health and then he de-aggroes and the combat stops and he's like, yep, see, I was about to kill you. So clearly I'm better.
Obviously, I'm the stronger.
Yeah.
Even though you beat him 3 out of 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah. And suddenly this is the be all end all one. Yeah. I'll have to check back in, assuming I get that quest to debug.
Yeah, hopefully you can figure out a way to debug that.
Well,
I don't know if you can.
Yeah, that's weird. Because I wonder if I can use the command console to set him as my follower. But
yeah, maybe I would just do some Google searching, Grok searching or Gemini or somebody.
Yeah,
talk to him. Talk to the AI about how to fix the AI.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, talk to me. So. Cool deal. All right.
But yeah, in that third one, there's a part it's mind blowing what they do. And it's like, wait a second.
Yep. All right. So now we are going to actually review Terran Armada as a whole, from the quest to the content and whatnot. So probably not going to spend a whole lot of time on the overall quest line, because we just did 5 episodes on the show on that, but we will definitely cover some broad strokes, recap some stuff that we might have overlooked as we were going through them, and just our rating actually. So let's go ahead and start there. What, let's see. Well, the game's called Starfield, so we'll use stars as our rating. So out of 5 stars, how many stars would you rate rate the quest and then the entire DLC as a whole? How many stars would you rate the quest?
How would I break that down? As far as a quest line and the writing of the quest line, I would give that like 3 stars.
That's where I land too.
It could have been done a little better.
Yeah, it could have been longer, and they also could have
not deep enough. The writing was not deep enough.
Yeah.
It was very repetitive. And okay, go fetch, come back. Go fetch, come back. So it was. I think it could have been. I've seen a lot better quest lines from Bethesda, from their writing team, than this.
Yeah,
and I've seen better from creations teams.
Yeah,
better than Bethesda's own stuff. So that really, if you're going to hold a benchmark and say this is the benchmark, Bethesda's the benchmark.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Watchtower is above your benchmark, and what you just produced is below your benchmark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Now I have not yet played Watchtower, but I have seen those comparisons. How there's some similar dynamics. The quest
it's definitely worth playing. Watchtower is a very fun, and I would consider it a faction expansion.
Yeah.
quest.
Although,
It's a lot of fun. And it's
word
worth
of
doing.
caution on that, I don't know if it's current yet, but I do know when they introduced free lanes and the Terran Armada stuff that it definitely caused some issues with that. So I think they were working on a patch for it. So before you start
Pretty sure
Watchtower,
has updated,
okay,
and I'm keeping track of all of the Darkstar updates, and Darkstar's still in quality control with Bethesda, but when it finally drops for its update for Terran Armada and free lanes, then it's what they're calling the total integration. Then rapidly we'll see a bunch of other things that happen that say, okay, now Darkstar is upgraded to the most current version of the game, and then you'll start seeing a lot of skins and weapon skins and armor skins and stuff like that upgraded to the newest Darkstar.
okay.
So it'll be
Okay.
Darkstar will upgrade, and then boom, 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 boom.
Be like
we'll
a
start seeing
series
lot
of
more
smaller
big
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of patches will come through for that after that. So
Okay.
I'm excited for when Darkstar does finally update.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be good once they get that all finished.
So
but
I
yeah,
say 3 for the writing and the quest. You say
yeah, I actually would have agreed at 3. It's like they had some really good bullet points of awesome stuff, but just didn't. The fluff was just a bit lackluster, like you said, the repetitive nature. Because there's the one point where you do have to go get the 3 black boxes. The first time you do that, you're like, okay, which is cool because each of those is. Well, no, actually, 2 of them ended up being repeats of. There was the Terran Enforcer with 2 of those. So I went back to the same environment. I know there's several different Terran ships that you can potentially go to, or a few. I don't know how many exactly, I guess, but it should have been a different one for each of those just to have it be different.
it seemed like maybe it's random because I thought I went to 3 different ones.
Yeah, it's definitely random, but unfortunately, in my case, 2 of them happen to be the same.
Okay.
And then now, so the problem is the way they also string the quest together. That I want to say that was doing those 3 black boxes was part of the quest. It was where I think the cruise ship, right?
Yes, opulence.
Yeah, so you go rescue that, and then you go do those 3 as part of the same quest, technically, if I remember right. Or something to that effect. It was weird that these 2 entirely separate things are lumped together in one quest. They should have been split into 2. And then,
and like, well, to begin with, right? The first quest is just go listen to the recording. Boop, that quest is over.
Yeah, that one's
right? It was just like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But then you look at the next quest and you look at all the quest objectives, and there's like 35 quest objectives. You're like, surely you could have broke this up a little differently to even these out to where they.
Yeah.
I don't know why it matters. The only reason it would matter is if you're doing what we're doing. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the typical player probably just goes through and isn't exactly paying attention to where they are on the structure of a quest line and what specific mission they have or have not finished. I mean, but yeah. When you start looking at it from recording a podcast and you're looking at story structure and like think of these missions as chapters in a book, and it's like, oh, this chapter is this short. It's like what's the author? James Patterson. Along Came a Spider. What was the other one he did? Kiss the Girls.
Oh, the girl that with the tattoos.
Oh, did he write those ones too?
No,
the girl with the dragon.
Else.
Well, Along Came a Spider and the Morgan Freeman was in those movies. But like I read one of his books, and some of his chapters are like 2 or 3 pages, and then some chapters are like 20 pages. So it's like,
book.
Yeah. So but that's what this reminded me of. It's like, yeah, super short first mission. It's literally the entire quest is just go listen to that recording, and then it's done. That would have been objective 1. That should have been objective 1 in going to rescue the ship, right? So yeah, from a story perspective. I give it just the story of the Terran Armada DLC. I give it a 3. And one big thing that I kept thinking about over the past week was the conclusion of it, where you learn that the Terrans were not like some breakaway society that's been living for a while. They were just all the people that It was a mixture of Freestar and United Colonies vessels that were in a battle decided to say screw our higher ups, we're going to retreat and then come back later. So
Yeah, but was it really explained? I mean, it was explained that they decided fighting each other was kind of futile and a waste of life.
yeah, so somewhere between them just
So what
deciding,
changed?
yeah, they basically wanted to, they were somehow able to stage or fake the fact that both fleets were completely wiped out.
Right.
And then, had they done that and they'd just gone and lived a quiet life, and decades later,
Just point your car down the highway and go.
Mhm. and
What made them? Did we ever find out? Was there ever a reason that we found out? Why did they turn around and come back as a unified force?
they were fascists.
This is their home turf, and they decided that we're going to combine our forces and take all of it back away. I don't know. That's the part of the writing where I was like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm following the story. That's fine because I am a video game player. It's okay with me.
Yeah,
These critics that say it makes no sense, I totally can see what they're saying because when you stop and think about the story itself, it doesn't make sense why they turned around and came back. They were free to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, they could have gone and set up
comparisons, but I don't want to come off as a jerk. So I was just
no. That's exactly my criticism of it. They wanted to. They didn't like all the war and the bloodshed and the fact that they're just the soldiers on the battlefield, so to speak, and they're following orders and just killing each other off. And they realize, oh, screw these higher ups, we're going to take off. Because the UC and Freestar are just kind of in this non-stop war. So then they turn around and decide to come back and wage war against the Freestar and the United Colonies to end the war that humans are a part of. What?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there should have been some kind of a hook, some kind of a reason why they needed to come back, and them coming back to just be violent when they were wanting to be peaceful. I mean, I don't know. Like they out of peace, they stopped fighting each other and retreated. So then, what prompted them to become violent? And if I missed a computer or a tablet somewhere that explained that, I'm sorry, but
let us know if somebody.
I'm usually pretty thorough
because it leaves me scratching my head, going, I don't understand.
Yeah. Now
overall, so what do you think overall?
Well, hold on. Let me make one more final point just to the story. Had there been, let's say, a different war that was, say, 100 years prior, and the Terran Armada was spawned out of that, where now we're a couple generations later, where these people that are in command are actually just different people now, and they wanted to come back. That would have made sense. These people would have been like, hey man, we've been floating out here, trying to build a society, but we're just we haven't been able. We need to go.
The grandkids decide they want to go home.
Yeah, but the fact that it was literally the same command, the boss commander that you fight was the admiral of that. It made no sense, and then the whole decision of, and we kind of got into this in the 5th mission last episode, where it's like, where you do in the incursions, or you do keep them going because you're going to kill innocent people. Well, like at that point, everybody in the Terran Armada, that their escape from everything was 20 years old. They were all military, even the janitors. Like and we talked about the chef, the janitor. Everybody on those ships would have been a part, unless they've had kids, I guess, since then. But you don't come across any kids. I mean, sure, in the past 20 years or so since the colony war ended, sure, there could be some children or something, there could be some peaceful settlements out there. But all of these people on these ships are all soldiers. I don't care if they're a janitor or a chef. I mean, the only sliver I could give them is, what if they were not a part of this mutiny, but then they kind of were forced to go along with it because they're on the ship. And then it's like, well, you can't go back.
Military command doesn't give everybody a vote.
Yeah. So, the admiral mutinies against the leadership of the United Colonies and the Freestar. So everybody has to go, and they don't want, and they need to stage this whole, both fleets have been wiped out. So there can be no survivors. okay, maybe there's some gray area there where maybe some of these people would have wanted to defect and go back to the UC and were being maybe held against their will. Maybe. At the end of the day, these were all soldiers that signed up to be they all signed up to join a military and be part of a military process. And with that comes the fact that you're a soldier. It doesn't matter if you're the chef or the janitor. You've gone through basic training, And my concern was the safety and the lives of innocent colonists that, let's say, they're out amassed or list. Was it massed? The colony one that their ships go out. Okay, list. They've gone out. Let's say they've set up a little colony on a planet. Crimson Fleet comes in, harassing them, or spacers, whatever. And an incursion happens, and now they can't retreat for help. They can't retreat for medical aid. Those people are the true innocents. And that's why I ended the incursions. Right. Or you could care about the gear, and you could keep the incursions going.
We agree, son of a bitch, and just go take the gear.
Yeah. Yeah, so, now, I like that decision. That decision's a really good one as far as just, not factoring. Yeah, I really like that decision. I think just the story up to that decision could have been better.
Right.
All right. Okay, so.
Yeah. And I really liked the discussion we had on the last episode on why would you make one decision over the other, and we actually pulled it apart and looked at it and stretched it out and looked at it. That really changed my mind. It did. I thought I was doing the right thing, but when we talked about it, I'm like, no, I absolutely did not do the right thing.
Yep. How many dead list colonists are out there because of you?
Right. I left this horrible thing out there wandering through the solar system, through the galaxy. Okay, so what'd you think overall?
Quick side note though. If you choose the incursion, keep the incursion going option, you can go in the settings and reduce the frequency. I don't think you can completely turn it off, but you can reduce it to like much more frequent, normal, and then way less frequent. So if the incursions are annoying because it's shutting down grab jumping out of a system, you can lower the frequency that it happens at least. So
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's annoying, you can turn it down. If you want it more often, you can turn it back up, and even higher. If you just want to go
you level up a lot. Yeah, you level up a lot on the incursions.
Yeah.
If you have a galactic harvest and you make that barbecue plate where your XP is 200%, and you sleep in your bed and you pop some other stuff, you're doing really good at leveling up. Okay, so overall, let's show up on the count of 3. We'll show how many fingers equivalent to the amount of stars. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't do it. I'm doing 4.5. 4.5.
I did 4.
Oh, you did 4. I did 4.5.
I did 4. I thought you were going to go 2 or something. I thought you were going to go lower. I thought you were going to go lower than me.
No. 4.5.
Okay, so I went higher than just the critique of the individual writing because as far as additional content goes, it was pretty good. There was plenty of meat on the bone. There was a lot of new guns. There was new ammunition types and styles. There was new armor sets, quite a few new armor sets. There was we never even talked about the heavy miner armor set, like a big power armor thing.
Oh, yeah.
See those? Yep.
Yeah.
There was that. There was new spaceship designs. There was new spaceship parts. All of this with the update. I guess maybe I'm kind of combining free lanes and
no, because all the stuff you mentioned is Terran Armada.
It's kind of hard to separate them.
Well, the Terran Armada armor and the ship parts is only in Terran Armada. Free lanes included a couple new spacesuits and some new weapons, but everything you just mentioned is exclusive to Terran Armada.
Right. So and for the price, it was $10. I mean, that's a great price point.
Yeah.
And if they did this level of content twice a year, do you think that's asking too much?
No.
Twice a year, $10. That's
$10 twice a year.
I'm going to spend additional $20 on their game every year, and that keeps them in a money stream coming of $20 per player per year.
Yeah, so $20 per
I
year
don't know if
is
that's
not
valuable
quite
enough
$2
to
a month on
them.
average, but I mean, yeah. Well, and this one I think is far better than Shattered Space, because Shattered Space was $20, right?
I would have spent $10 on Shattered Space,
But not 20, or you did spend the 20.
I know because I bought the extended version of the game to begin
Oh,
with. So
oh, you already had that
basically, I got
same.
both. I
Yeah,
prepaid for both of these.
yeah. Well, yeah, because we bought the premium extended, whatever it was. We're going to get
Hmm.
all of the content. Well,
Right.
except the Trackers Alliance was not part of it for some reason. I don't
Well,
know,
that's
but
because that was technically a creation.
oh, it wasn't actually a Bethesda like. Oh,
It was a
whatever. Okay.
Bethesda creation, but
But
just like the Hell's Gate was a Bethesda creation, it was not DLC.
oh, okay. Yeah, but yeah, Shattered Space being $20. I mean, they introduced a new planet, so they had to design that whole Dazra. They had to design that whole thing. So to be fair, that was probably more labor intensive. But unless you're really role playing a Varun person, I mean, we went over that ad nauseum in the quest where it forces you to convert to their religion. So if
Yeah,
you're just doing it for the
didn't like
mechanics
that.
of it,
Didn't care for that.
if you're doing it for the mechanics of going through that and doing the story and just getting the content out of the game and the loot and whatever, okay, cool, you do it. But the $20 for that, I just pales in comparison to $10 in this. Now, granted, there's no new planets here. I don't even think there's a new city or anything.
There is a new city. It's called Anchor Point.
Oh, duh, yeah. Well, but that's free lanes. You already have that.
Well, that's true. Yep.
So it's free.
I
so
conflated
if
the two
if
again.
yep. So if you have free lanes and you haven't yet paid for Anchor Point or for Terran Armada, you're not going to get any new locations to go to outside of just the places you'll go on the quest, which is mainly
So
boarding ships. But I still think it's worth
whole
it.
new location versus new ships, new ship parts, new armors, new weapons.
Yeah, I would much rather have the yeah. If I had $20 to spend, I would rather spend the $10 on Terra Armada and not spend the 20 on Shattered Space, and then hopefully the next DLC is also $10. I
Right.
mean,
Or you take that extra $20 and you
yeah,
spend 10 of it on Watchtower and 10 of it on Darkstar.
that's true.
Ta-da.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so you spend $30, 10 on Watchtower, 10 on Darkstar, 10 on Terran Armada. Yeah, that's a good point. But if you got the money to spare, of course, I recommend Shattered Space.
Yeah. But comparing the $10 mark is really where the value is, I think.
Mhm.
Looking at what is on the creations page for the prices that are there, I think $10 fair.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I would give it a 4. And you may convince me 4.5. I definitely wouldn't give it a full 5 stars. I'm actually thinking about that. Yeah, I wouldn't even give it 4.5. I think 4 is a fair number for it. That's where I'm going to stay there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I admit it's probably a little biased. I mean, the only reason I give it 4.5 stars is because I can't give it 5 stars if I rate the story down at a 3. But for me, as a ship builder, having those stairs, there's what five habs that have the stairs. There's the 2x1 double deckers. One has a stair going this way. One has a stair going this way. Which, if you're building with those, you'll notice they have an F and an A. And I tried to figure out what the F and A meant, and I'm pretty sure what it means is if you're on the bottom floor and you're walking forward, you go up. If you're
That's 4. Mm-hmm.
For F for 4, and then if you're
on the bottom floor and it goes up to the back, that's aft.
Yeah, like if you're walking back up, it's A for aft. Yeah. Then there's the 3x1, which I like that one a lot because the way the stairs go like this, there's that little bridge right in the middle up top, so it kind of has a unique flow to it, and it's a great centerpiece for a lot of ships. Then there's the 2 wides, which I use both of them in my my Event Horizon 2 ship, which I still need to make a video for that one because it's done. But one of them is more like a living quarter style. It's got a table and a galley, and I think that's the one that has there's a small little bedroom upstairs on the side with a single bed. I'm trying to remember what else was in that one, but the other one's like a workshop because it has all 3 workbenches in it. In the crew one, there's where there were the Gallias. I think that's the one where upstairs there's a research station and a pharmaceutical lab. I think in that one. And unfortunately, one of those is just called a 2x2x2, and the other one's the 2x2x2B. So they kind of,
Okay.
so I can never remember which one is which, unfortunately, because it doesn't specify. It just, other than just that difference in designation. I mean, it would have been nice if they called it like 2x2x2W for workshop, and 2x2x2C for crew, or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know. But then, so there's those three habs. There's the awesome new cockpit, the Drake,
Mhm.
which has 3 doors. Well, technically 4 if you count the hatch on top. Which that one, if you can, most people just put the Docker on it. But if you put a hab there and you put the shorter Nova Galactic Cowling, which is the one that's on the frontier right on top, you can put that right up there, and it does flow decently. So then you can have a ladder going up into the ship to go backwards. But then there's the 3 doors on the back, on the bottom, 2 to the side, 1 going straight back. The awesome cockpit. And then there's all the structure pieces, the new engines, which are Class B engines. So just all the ship parts. And then I like the new equipment stuff. Those and I've come across 3 different types
antennas?
now. Yeah, all the different types of antennas. I've come across 3, and I think there's more. You just come across the schematics over time. Oh, and then all the equipment. Just like there's the little mini reactor, which gives you 1 more to your reactor output. All that stuff. Plus being able to upgrade your ship. But I think that stuff
That
might be
was
freelance. No, I'm doing it.
Right, same thing.
Yeah.
Because they came out at exactly the same time,
Yeah.
and they weren't separated by time, it's very easy to conflate the two. And
Yeah.
we even were very specific to play one and not the other until later,
Yeah.
and we're still mixing them up.
Yeah. We made a point to only review free lanes and play free lane content, and not start the Terran Armada quest line, so that way we can give free lanes room to breathe. But we're going to have to probably do a free lanes like post-mortem, like another review of it, because it changes so much about the game. And so I think once we've gone through a lot of these faction quests and we've seen.
Now hold on.
Well,
Before we get there,
yeah.
I think we need to at least go through the stuff that you haven't even played in the game yet. Ryujan.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I think once we get through all the faction quests, which probably take us through the rest of the year, we've got 3 more to do: Freestar, Crimson Fleet, and Ryujan. I think once we get through those, then we'll do a free lanes post-mortem, like a review, round 2 review, where we just look at the effect it's had on the game as a whole. Because with the only quest I haven't played is Ryujan, but if there's any effect that the free lanes seems to have on the game as a whole that you really can't process until you've played the game for a while, having played it significantly before free lanes came out, and then playing it significantly after, then there's some juxtaposition there to be able to compare how free lanes has overall improved the game as a whole.
I was watching Elite Dangerous on YouTube, and the sound of them going into their near faster than light, it's the exact same sound effect that they use for the free lanes when you're jumping into like inner solar system travel.
Oh,
And you get that
the super cruise. Yep.
Yeah, and you go into the super cruise, and then as you get closer to your objective, it like steps the speed down, and you get that. It's a sound effect, and it sounds like the engine's shifting down a gear. You're slowing down. It's the exact same. I was like, wait a second.
Well, then that means there has to be probably a classic movie that used a very similar sound. Well, I know the tractor beams in Star Wars that when Obi-Wan's pulling them down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're going to come across some sound effects and stuff where they're kind of paying homage by just completely ripping the sound off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So overall, 4.5 overall. I'd highly recommend, getting the content. Now, if you just bought the game, so if you're a PlayStation player, obviously, or if you're PC or Xbox and you finally got around to picking this up, I definitely recommend getting the Terran Armada stuff eventually. So there's probably, if you're just getting into the game, there's probably a ton of content where you don't have to worry about picking it up. Maybe wait till the holidays here in a few months, and you can pick up the Terran DLC on discount. Hopefully some Cyber Monday sale or something like that. But for $10, it's easily worth it. You get probably 5 hours of gameplay if you just focus on the quest, right? If you were to blitz through the quest line and not do any of the incursions, the minor incursions, only doing the ones that you have to do for the quest,
just to get through it, to get to the end.
Yeah, so you probably have a good 5 hours of gameplay there, right? And I always equate my game purchases, cost per hour. I've got hundreds of hours into this game. I mean, I'm talking like 10 cents an hour.
Right, I'm down to pennies per hour at this point.
So that's where my cost effectiveness comes in, and that's why
I say that, but I don't know how much I've spent on creations. I've probably spent just as much buying creation points to spend to get some creations, and a lot of it is just to support a lot of the creators that I like. I may not even be using the content that I'm buying, but I like the people that are putting the content out, and I want to support them, and so I'll throw them $5 here and $5 there just to pay for their content, so that they make a little money and they can keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, Yeah, same here. I probably have spent. I don't think I've spent over 100 on that. Probably about 50 to 60 probably on creations. Galactic Harvest, Sweet Peas.
Firesides.
Yeah, the all those fireside
Walls,
ones. The wall.
And then there's one new management at the.
Oh, I haven't done that one yet.
That one, it just
that's the wolf. The den, right?
Yes.
Well,
it redoes the entire den. New management. Yeah. And it's pretty cool. I mean, but realistically, how much time do I spend at the den?
Yeah.
Maybe when you first start the game, you spend a little time there because you're finding contraband, but you haven't done the Crimson Fleet stuff yet, so you don't have any place to get rid of contraband, so you kind of got to go there or the Red Mile.
Yeah, those are the two.
You can go to the den for free without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So, but once this is what really turned the den off for me, was once I got the new crew. I don't need any place anymore.
Yeah, because you have your fence.
Yep. I got a doctor and I got a fence.
Yep. You don't need to land it ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
so
unless
you're role playing, then that's where it would matter. Because I'm running the functional infirmaries mod. So if you have a crew member that has the medicine skill, which in the vanilla game there's only one, and that's Rosie Tannehill, then you can go up to a infirmary bed on your ship, lay down in it, and cure your conditions and stuff, your injuries and so on. So on my cyber runner, I'm using the new crew just to have new NPCs to interact with. So I'd have the doctor in the fence, and she's a assassin. Thief will become an assassin, so it makes sense for her to have that kind of crew on her ship. So there's lots of good creations out there to purchase and download. But definitely pick up Terran Armada. It's awesome to have those stairs. I am going to be going through the Stroud Premium Edition mod. For my hab showrooms. I'm going to start going through mod habs because
one of the best. I think it's one of the best optimized, from what I understand. A lot of people talking about. So I mean that you're going to have less issues of crashing and conflicts with that one. Whoever made that really followed the rules and did what they needed to do and took the extra time, effort, and work to make sure that it was not going to conflict with anything else. And they are super quality habs. That's great. I would love to see you do that. That's and the stuff, the showroom habs videos that you do are awesome. So can't wait to see that.
Well, I just had somebody comment just yesterday on one of them, said, "Man, this is so helpful for when I'm building a ship and I need to remember what's inside of it." It's like, I do that on my own videos. I will go into my hab showrooms because there's definitely my more commonly used habs that I've just memorized. I know exactly where everything is in those habs and what I will and won't lose depending on if I put the door on the side or on the end or what. But sometimes when I'm building a new ship and I just want to kind of spread my wings a little bit and use a different hab, I'm like, crap, what's in that hab? What's in the HopeTech computer core? What's the layout, right? So with the Stroud Premium Edition mod, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that into probably, I think, 3 videos, where the first one I'll do will just be talking about the stairs and the elevator, and then I'll do like all the 2x2s. Right, I'll break it up like that, getting in multiple videos based on just that one mod. So it's that way they're each contained to kind of one theme.
There's an elevator in there. There is an elevator, huh?
Yeah. Have you not done the elevator yet?
So I'm making an A class. I already made a B class, and I'm gonna make a C class, and they're all gonna be like my own branding, very recognizable as these are Jax Wiley creations.
Yep.
I may have to go with an elevator in the C class and just make that a kind of a monster.
Yeah. Well,
that's gonna be fun.
Well, because what you could do is, depending on how you design the ship, to keep it vanilla for the mod initially, you can have just a whole bunch of 1x1s, right? So you have your long hatch, and then you can just, when you want to mod it, you just insert the elevator, because I think the elevator goes up to 5 levels. Now, I thought the elevator would function like most elevators in the game, where you go up to it and you select it, and it pulls up the menu option. Now, you step into the elevator, you turn around, and there's a command console with the number of buttons based on how high this elevator is. And you push the button, and you ride the elevator up. So, if you're a Mass Effect 1 player, you might have a little bit of PTSD, but this elevator is faster than the Mass Effect elevator. if you know what I'm talking about. Oh, the elevator was painful because you had to go through that elevator. Yeah. But yeah, so look forward to that. I'll be doing those Hab showrooms on mods now, because I've done all the vanilla Habs, and at this point, I like the Hab showroom series. We're also going to be getting into our own modding here soon, very soon. We'll do videos on that. We won't upload those as podcasts, though, because it's going to be a very visual intensive thing. But we'll be sharing our screen. We'll primarily use Jay Ramos for learning how to mod. We're gonna do ship mods. We're gonna do some gear mods, some other stuff that we don't want to spoil. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have a good time with it all. So, not sure when our next recording will be, but we'll do Freestar, because we already did United Colonies. So I kind of want to do the Freestar, because a lot of people tend to compare those two. So we'll do the Freestar Ranger quest next, and so we'll probably have our next recording for that in let's see, on the 16th.
Okay, couple of weeks.
Yeah. Or do you want to just do it next Saturday? No, let's give us a little breather. Let's do that on the 18th, just because we'll probably start doing some of that mod recording between now and then. So we'll want to have a little bit of a breather on that. So our next podcast recording will be on the 18th. So if you guys have any feedback, especially ship builds, I haven't checked the email in a couple days, so let me see if there's anything in there. starfieldreport@gmail.com. Yep, don't have any ship build pictures in there. So, but if you have any ship builds you want to show some pictures off to the audience, be sure to send your screenshots of your ships to starfieldreport@gmail.com. As also, any other general feedback, if you want to send anything in, recordings, we can also drop those in, and also just email where we can read what you have to say.
If you are members of our Discord, I dropped a whole slew of my ships from day one, beginning building ships in Starfield, to current.
Yep.
They're not really in any order, but it kind of gives you an idea of my ship build philosophy. I really have a preference, look, right? Yeah. I like the redheads, whatever, something like that. But yeah, you can see where I tend to fall. So there's some pretty cool ships. There's just pictures that I was looking through the other day, and I was like, hey, some people might like to see these. So I threw them up in the ship builds in our Discord. So take a look at those, guys. Comment if you like.
Yep. So, all right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up at this point.
Yep.
That was a good run going through the Terran Armada stuff. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in a couple weeks for our next Mission 1 of Freestar Collective quest line, and you'll definitely be getting some content from me probably a ship build video or two, as well as some quick tip videos in the next couple weeks. And I have to rearrange my desk as Jack's got me a new monitor, so I've got a second monitor now, so I can have my Discord over on one side, my OBS over on one side, and then my that way I can watch what's happening. Have a better setup for doing the recording here. So, all right, folks. Well, it's been fun. Any final words, Jax?
Happy 4th of July, America, and go out there and drive fast and take lots of chances.
All right. Well, folks, thank you once again, and fly safe out there. We will see you in the Starfield.
Then let me be the first to officially welcome you to the United Colonies Vanguard.